Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I am quickly going to start, much like last week, with trades, just to clear some stuff out. I got Dragon Ball Super Volume 11. The one I need currently is Volume 8, but thank you, Berg. He is getting the ones that I am missing. I also got Immortal Sergeant. I loved this. I did a video each month as the single issues came out, so I'm not going to do a video on this, at least immediately, and maybe, in a year or so. And you've been canceled. This came out months ago, but I'm catching up. I think I have this font. I've been catching up on things that I skipped when I didn't have a job, and now that I have a job, I'm catching up on some things. This was great. I loved it. I got the trade for it. So let's get into the comics themselves. Single issues. And I don't know what order these are in, but we're going to start with Operation Sunshine issue 4, and I never read issue 3. I never got to issue 3. I wanted the variant cover, and it was unavailable, and it's still unavailable. So we're going to start with Hellblazer, and I read the first issue of the previous series from Spurrier, and it didn't hook me. And then months later, when it was ending, there were rave reviews, and everyone was, I don't know, upset that it was ending. And that continued past the end, and then there was no Hellblazer for a while, and still people were raving about Spurrier's. And so this came back, and I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. It's going to have John, it's going to have Swamp Thing, and Sandman, and okay, I'll see how all of that connects. But this is good, and there's a sizable recap here in the beginning. Tells you everything that you missed, so thank you for that. It's good, and I think I'm leaning toward continuing this to see where it goes. I was never a Hellblazer completist. I have my DC Vertigo shelf is right there, and it doesn't have any of the Hellblazer stuff on it, and now I'm unsure where they are. I remember putting some trades in a short box, and I don't know where that short box went. It might be behind me. I'm just not sure. And but I had some of the Carrie Azzarello Ellis stuff. I don't remember if someone else was in there. But I've got a chunk of Hellblazer. I'm certainly familiar with the character. I just never had all of it. Anyway, this is good. I think I'm going to continue. It is sometimes nice knowing that something is intended to be a limited series, and I'm like, all right, well, I've got to commit to it for 8 issues. That's fine. If it were an ongoing, I'd be kind of wary. I'm like, well, where's it going? And that's just sort of my calculation with new series. But this is good. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to try to talk less so that I ramble less, so that I have less to cut. I want to get to editing, but this is good. I will continue. Up next is Kill Your Darlings issue 5, and I thoroughly enjoyed 1 through 4. This is another 8-issue series. I sometimes forget that, but I was reminded when I was looking at some previews, because the April previews, at least some of them have gone up yesterday. And so I'm reading through those, and I think this is March, April. Yeah, this is ending in April. And this series went nowhere near where I was expecting it to. The preview for issue 1 many months ago was the daughter was having a, I almost said pillow fight, was having a stuffed animal war with her stuffed animals, and it was like high on imagination, and the art was fantastic, and I'm like, this looks cool. And it got dark. So the first issue ends with her in the street with a gas can watching as her house burns down. That's the last page splash, and you're just like, whoa. And then things continue to go dark for issues 2 through 4. This issue is kind of a flashback origin story. It is about her mother, and it starts with a car accident, and there's compound fracture there, and it's very rough. And there's this nearly silent sequence where yeesh. So it's fantastic. I loved it. The series is amazing. It's I think pick of the week might be multiple. I haven't considered it yet, but this is very good, and some of the other stuff in here is also very good. I made a mistake. So I was reading this on lunch, and immediately after I read this, I then read Phantom Road and The Weatherman, and I had some problems with this, and then I immediately go into a couple of the best issues that I read this week, and just comparatively, this does not hold up. This feels like an 80s book with modern art, and that is not great for someone like me that can't really stand the writing of previous decades. But we get what I'm going to praise it for here on the first page, which is a recap of the last couple of issues, happened on Cobra Island, what is going on. One of my annoyances here is that every character says every other character's name, including, this is the most ridiculous, so spoilers if you care, but Snake Eyes and Scarlet are literally in bed together. Their house gets attacked by these new kind of cyborgs. They get the drop, but they are, where is it? They are calling each other by code names, and I'm just like, what the hell? These people are clearly familiar with each other. They should not be calling each other by their field names, but I don't know. The other thing is there are robots in this, and every robot says exactly what it's doing. This isn't what I was just talking about, but this is especially weird, is they're saying things out loud to, like, inform the audience, and it's just poorly executed. Like, this robot is asking what he's doing with the sword that's stabbing him, and it's like, oh, so I can pull off this sweet move. And it's, I think, the definition of telling instead of showing. This would benefit vastly from just cutting the number of words. And I once wrote a script and I gave it to the artist, and his feedback was there are too many words, and it stung for a couple of days, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, no, he's right. There were too many words, and I had to rewrite it. But here's what I was talking about earlier with the robots that just say out loud everything that they're doing, and this is not great. So this is probably going to get dropped. Certainly as soon as Mooneyham leaves, but Larry Hama, there's a fantastic issue 301, and then issues 2 and 3 are just not up to snuff. In almost complete contrast, we have Phantom Road issue 8, which is vague to the... It reminds me of the early episodes of Lost, where things are weird and nothing is being explained, and everyone's keeping their backstory close to their vest before the series got extremely bogged down in its own mythology and like what the hell is going on. This is that level of mystery, of interest and intrigue, and definite weirdness. But I'm fully on board, and the last page of this is, I don't think I just spoiled it. If I did, I'll blur it or cut it. But the last page of this is like, what the hell? But also in a good way. It's really, really well done writing. It's top-notch stuff, and I hope somebody else is reading this, because it's so good. It's so good. It's very strange. It's extremely vague. It's very mysterious, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Another contender for Pick of the Week is The Weatherman, issue 1. I just did a video a week or two ago about the previous 2 volumes. This is clearly volume 3. If you are confused at all, if you did not read those 2 volumes, there is a lovely recap right here that tells you everything you need to know. But seriously, grab those 2 trades, because it is a fantastic series. This is another sort of flashback kind of origin story for this guy here, Nathan/Ian. It really makes sense if you read those other books or read that recap at the start. But we get history on him. We get a lot of jumping through time. So there's stuff in the future, present, and there's also stuff leading up to the virus, the attack that killed most of the Earth. So it's incredibly well done. It is very emotional. The action is there. I feel everything that the character's going through. So he was at war. He comes home and he's not adjusting well. And there's this. Oh, I didn't notice the robot. The dog has robot legs. That's a nice touch. Well done. But it's incredibly well done. Highly, highly recommended. I hope other people give this a try. It's incredible. Cobra Commander, issue 1. And I received 2 pieces of non-spoiler information before reading this, and that was that it is not going to help me understand Duke and the, is it 3 or 6 months later time jump from Transformers, from the clap that was in Starscream versus Duke's plane. It's incredible. There's so many things that I haven't told you about Transformers, and it's so good. So good. Alright, but it's not going to fix my issue with the time jump in Duke versus Transformers. And the other thing is it's heavy on Cobra Law. And before I read this, based on that information, I did a quick wiki, because I did watch while editing Falcon last year. For Shock and Awe, I did watch a good chunk of I almost said Ghostbusters, the G.I. Joe movie. So I was familiar with events, and then I refreshed, and yes, thank you for that. But this is intriguing, and I think I liked this more than I liked Duke, at least so far. But he is right. There's a lot of stuff with Cobra Law, and it's interesting, and I will see where it's going. At the moment, I'm probably getting this. I think is, I like. It's so weird, but I like all of this sequence too. I will probably get Duke issue 2. Just to see where that goes, see if issue 2 hooks me any more than issue 1 did. But I'm currently more inclined to continue with this because it's just a better hook. And the preview that is this opening sequence is also just vastly better, which I mention at every opportunity. But Cobra Commander, I enjoyed it. The art's great. The story's weird as hell. I kind of expected, and probably a bunch of other people expected too, that Cobra is going to start as a terrorist organization, but I think that stuff is happening over in Duke with other characters and not Cobra Commander. He's taking a clearly different route with things. Black Hammer, The End, issue 5. I say this frequently, but I'm really have enjoyed Black Hammer up until this point, and I still don't see how this is going to end with only one more issue. I don't know if the last issue is oversized. Get a shove on Inspector and Sector, which is not great. But things are very slowly coming together, and it's great, and I want to see what happens with the Black Hammer universe after this, because I again have been enjoying everything Black Hammer for years, and this series in particular I think has moved very slowly, but it is crawling along towards the finish. There's one issue to go. I'm very intrigued on what is going to happen, but this is great. It's great. It's great. I just don't have much else to say about it. The Enfield Gang Massacre. This is the end of the series, and I largely did not enjoy this. By that I mean the whole series, because it's mostly the art, in my opinion, that I just feel like could have been done better, and yesterday, I was bored, once again, at work. Thursday, maybe? I actually read that Texas Blood issue 1. It's available for free on Image's website, and I'm like, that Texas Blood is overall better constructed than this entire series. Establishing shots, establish things that they should. It's just, the Enfield gang, every issue of this feels like an old comic that I were critiquing on Void. And it's like encouragement, but also pointing out the things that the artist is lacking. And let me just show you this horse. So we get this, right? And I guess I should have known something based on the angle of this, because he's clearly lower than the guy that's standing. But we get this, which is the only shot, and I was focused on the group up here, not this guy here, and the fact that he is on a horse. Because what happens over here is we get a couple of pages of conversating, and then we get over to here, and again, there's a horse that I missed. So, like, this guy's cracking a whip, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? The guy's already tied into a noose. Are you going to whip him before you hang him? And then it's this crack. And I'm just like, what the hell's happening? And I had to go back to find the horse that I missed. And, like, that shouldn't happen. If a dude is on a plot-critical horse, make sure that you don't miss the horse. Anyway. That Texas Blood, at least the first issue, is overall better constructed than this. The whole series has wound up in the to-go pile. I've started a new box, and I'm glad that I read this, but also it is not worth keeping, in my opinion. I definitely won't be getting the trade of this, but if you are interested, it's Image Comics. They will inevitably make a trade of it. Guardians of the Galaxy, issue 10. This is another one that's just like, okay, it's fine. The whole thing with Star-Lord and his sister, I feel like I need to check a wiki of the sister, and was she really introduced in this series for the first time? Because it feels like there's some history, and I was certain that she hadn't been around before, and now everyone's talking as if, you know, they have this big history, and I'm like, we just f***ing met you. Anyway, all of the stuff with Groot space in, like, the Groot Guardians of the Grootiverse is moving along very slowly. People are acting a little bit weird. I feel like I should have skipped this. I should have known a long time ago. Much like Bendis after he came on, and I'm just like, nope, that's clearly not for me. That's for somebody else. It does say to be concluded in the annual, and I'm still not sure. I haven't checked the solicits, I guess, for March. Marvel's April solicits aren't out as of this recording, but if this series still exists in March and April, or if it concludes in February, like it seems it does, but it's okay at best. It's fine. Lastly, there is World's Finest, which I largely enjoy, but I would really like to see this Kingdom Come stuff get wrapped up. It's been going on for quite a while. But we get plenty of Gog and Magog and Batman and Superman, and we get this, which you may recall from, I don't know how many years ago at this point. But it's good, and I feel like there's at least one panel where they forgot the gray in his temples. I think it's right here. And I'm like, maybe it's the angle, but I definitely don't see gray in there. Anyway, things are starting to make sense. Things that had confused me previously now are explained and make some semblance of sense. I still don't think this Magog quite lines up with the previous one from Kingdom Come or the post stuff where he's a multiversal Superman serial killer. he's not there yet, and I don't know if he's going to get there with only one issue to go, or if this is going to continue in some fashion. But we get some boom tubes, we get Gog, and then there's a certain dude that shows up. This is that, and that's pretty cool. But this dude shows up, and that has consequences for a conversation that happened previously in this issue, and it's good. I just want to see it wrapped up. Just move on. Tell your story. It's good. Could be shorter. And then one last thing, because this is a comic show on a toy channel, I got Justice this week from Berg. Thank you, Berg. And I like him better than I thought I did. The thing with holding a Marvel Legends, because I'm so used to McFarlane and NECA, anytime I hold a 6-inch figure, it just feels tiny to me. So that's not great. But it's good. And I think there's a conversation, I think a philosophical conversation to be had about, I'm going to say, the Marvel Legends approach to certainly team building versus something like McFarlane that does a lot of one-off figures. And as far as Marvel Legends go, I think the sum is greater than the total. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Wow, I really screwed that one up. But I think McFarlane does a lot of one-off or like small wave stuff, and you get part of what you wanted, but not the whole thing. Whereas Marvel Legends will eventually give you the whole thing, and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, because this figure is fine, but he elevates the overall New Warriors that isn't quite complete, but it's getting there. Anyway. So that is everything that I got this week. Let's run through it. This is good. It's not a contender, though, when you've got Weatherman. See, these three, I think, this is just outside, but I'm going to give pick of the week to Kill Your Darlings, the Weatherman, and Phantom Row. They're all just amazing. Just spectacular, top-notch stuff. A lot of that is the writing, but also the art is just gorgeous. And so all three of these get pick of the week for me. But this is everything that I got this week. As always, I get everything from my unnamed local comic shop. And if you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.